Hey everybody, today is April 19th. I'm Mr. Sheridan. This is Earth Science. I hope everybody had a great weekend. Welcome back. Hopefully this is the last week that we will be online and we can get back to in person, at least for most of you. I understand that there's some students that will still be online, and it is what it is. We'll do our very best to incorporate you into class, but very much looking forward to having everybody here in the building. So what we're going to do today, we're going to transition away from CK12s. I don't know about you, but I'm just kind of bored and tired with them. So we are going to do something a little bit different today. And we are going to work toward improving or adding to our summative presentation. So for those of you who don't remember, all the way back a couple of weeks ago, I posted this assignment, which was managing resources. Let me read through this again. For this summative project, use an area of land that you can imagine changing over time. For example, a woodlot that became a parking lot that could be reclaimed, a park, or a farm field. Think about the natural resources contained in your land. Think about the natural resources there. Are there trees that could be harvested, oil or mineral resources that could be collected? Are these resources finite or sustainable? Think about ways your area of land could change over time. How would this affect the human population? How would it affect the wildlife in the area? How would it have an impact on the community in other ways? We'll investigate the value of these resources and explore the options that humans have when making decisions on land use. So this is what we're working toward. You need to have a presentation put together that you'll actually give to class that will focus on all of these things. For today, what I want you to do is, so on that presentation, as of right now, you should have a piece of land selected. You should have one or several maps that show that land. Then you should also have the zoning laws and regulations for what that land is zoned, a zoning map that shows that's how that land is zoned, and then a little bit of a brief explanation on what that zoning allows you to do and what it does not allow you to do. So we're going to build on that presentation today. I want you to create 3 new slides in your summative presentation that each highlight these possible resources on your land. So the first slide that you're going to add after that, I want you to focus on timber or a forest. If you have a big piece of land that already has timber or forest or a forest on it, then you're going to expand on what you're going to do with that resource. If your land is bare, how might you implement growing trees of some kind, whether it's timber or having them grow into a forest over time? How might that look? I want you to explore the possibility of using somehow growing trees on your piece of land. I don't care if your land is in the middle of a subdivision. I don't care if you have a giant piece of agricultural ground. I want you to focus on how you could implement some sort of tree growth on your land. Slide number 2, mineral or petroleum products. This could be everything from mining iron ore to coal mine to drilling for oil. This could also be, harvesting other natural resources. Are you natural gas? Is there a way to somehow get those types of resources out of your land? This one you might have to stretch if you are in a residential area. You might have to play out some sort of a scenario. So you might start with something like, although this is not very likely on my piece of ground, you might be able to do this if this this whole neighborhood was reclaimed, and if we did a geological survey and found a freaking gold mine underneath all these houses, well, we're going to do something about that. So you might have to play with your imagination a little bit there to get to some of these things on some of your pieces of ground, but I want you to go there. I want you to think about what that would look like for your piece of ground. If there was oil under there, if there was gold under there, if there was some sort of valuable mineral or petroleum product on your piece of ground, I want you to go through the details of what that would look like on your land. Then the third slide is renewable energy resources. We've talked about a number of these different things. What are specific ways that you could implement renewable resources on your piece of ground? So for each of these slides, be specific about at least one, most likely 2 or 3 examples of how that natural resources would be collected from your ground or how else you might generate income from that resource. So some of these you're not actually taking anything off the ground, but how you need to still look at it through the lens of generating income from this natural resource. You need to include whether your zoning laws would allow you to harvest or utilize that resource right away, or whether that would require a change in zoning ordinance. You also need to include whether the resource is renewable or non-renewable. So again, for today, you do not have to include all of this information for timber on one slide, or a forest, or a Christmas tree farm, or somehow growing trees. You don't have to do that all on one slide. If you can get it all on one slide, okay. More likely, it's going to take you 2 or 3 slides for each one of these things to do them correctly. We've talked a lot about how we design slides, meaning that we're using bullet points, meaning that we're not adding a ton of text, and we're using images of some kind. So you need to make these slides interesting to look at and easy to look at and easy to digest. That's the point. So if it takes you 2 or 3 slides to do timber forest, 2 or 3 slides to do mineral petroleum products, and 2 or 3 slides to do renewable energy sources, that's okay. But you can't put all 3 of these on one slide. That's not okay. So you need to have at least 3 slides that are titled with these 3 things. And I want you to explore those 3 areas and what that will look like on your specific piece of ground. So we're going to slowly build toward, this is due on Wednesday. So we're going to take a couple of days. Tomorrow, today, we're going to watch a short video. They got their, why can't I think, their drone or their small helicopter going on Mars. So we're going to watch a little news clip on that real quick. And then I'm going to turn you loose to work on this today. Tomorrow's going to be a question and answer period. It's going to be more of, hey, I really thought about trying to do mineral and petroleum resources and I got nothing. What can I do? So those are the kind of things that we'll work through tomorrow. And then on Wednesday, this is going to be due and we'll start to move on to add some more slides to that presentation. So again, here is your assignment. It is assignment number 122, not 22. We'll make that change and say that. So this is assignment number 122. You need to add these slides onto the slide deck that you would have already started for assignment 110. And then you can attach that to this particular assignment. So with that, go to work, go find and explore with your particular piece of land, those 3 areas. If you have any questions, as always, feel free to hang around in class and ask, or you may shoot me an email. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you later. That does not mean you can leave, so everybody stay. Okay, because we're going to watch our 3 minutes on Intrepid and what's going on Mars, and then we'll turn you loose. But while this is all fresh in your brains, what questions does everybody have about what I'm asking you to do with these new slides for your presentation?